This is a short reading, but there's a lot going on. At our early service this morning, I asked folk as we went around a circle and read this text, I said, what makes a light bulb go off? What part of this resonates with you? And folk all had a different part that spoke to them. One person was so impressed that when the crowd told Bartimaeus, "Shh, be quiet, you're being impolite," he yelled all the louder, "Jesus, Son of David, have mercy on me." Another was so impressed that when Bartimaeus got up, he threw off his cloak, his one bit of shelter, while he's outside begging. And another was so impressed with Jesus not assuming he knew what Bartimaeus needed or wanted. He asked Bartimaeus. He had Bartimaeus put into words, "Tell me, what do you want me to do for you?" He empowered Bartimaeus to own that and ask him, "Rabbi, let me see again." His seeing again invited Bartimaeus back into community. Disabilities were often a wall, seen as a wall of sin to full community, to full inclusion. And while Jesus may have disagreed with that theology, he also built the bridge over that wall for Bartimaeus to reconnect. We are starting our stewardship season where we're going to be talking about how is it that we, to use Martin Luther King's term, build beloved community. How is it that we help create a community that is based on justice and inclusion and peace and reconciliation? And we want to know, if Jesus were to ask us, what is it you want to bring into this community? We're going to be examining or utilizing today a tool that may help give us some clarity about what that is. We're going to be sharing with you all a spiritual gifts inventory. And Barb will tell us a little bit about what that is.
Fast pencils. So there's an understanding that we are gifted spiritual gifts by God, and spiritual gifts are not something you're good at. They're something that is placed in you that is part of who you are. When I think about spiritual gifts, I think about something that when I do it, it doesn't drain me, it energizes me. When I'm using my spiritual gifts, sometimes I call it being plugged into the Holy Spirit outlet, right? I might be working really hard, but when it's things that I'm gifted for, they feed me as well as utilize what I'm good at. And what I found in myself and I found in other folk is that we tend to see other people's spiritual gifts, like that person who's great at praying. We're like, oh, they have that spiritual gift. It's harder for us to see our own, partly because for us it's like fish seeing water. It's just who we are. We sort of assume everyone's like that, but in fact, each of us is gifted. And so what we're passing out to you this morning, and we're going to pass out we have pencils as well. We'll send these out so that you can do it, is a very quick and basic spiritual gift inventory. I'm going to give you guys have some, just pass this around and you guys can share it if you want them. If you need them. You can pass that around. I'm going to ask you to take this spiritual gift inventory. I think it'll take about 10 minutes. It's not rocket science. It's not super hard. It is not a test. I realize that we're in the middle of Harvard and MIT and all those places. There are no right and wrong answers, please. So what we're asking, and I know that you've already all started.
We'll grade you on penmanship, just saying.
So if you've started already, pause a second and listen.
You're in trouble.
I, too, am one of those doobies who starts as soon as I get it in my lap, right? When you take this, it's going to ask you a range of never to almost never to almost always. Be a little bit discerning in that. When you're done and you score it, you should have 2 or 3 or 4 spiritual gifts that are kind of your top scoring pieces. If you end up with 10 top scores that are all the same, go back and be a little more discerning, right? In how you've graded yourself in that. And the reason we're doing this is because when we talk about building the beloved community, you all are the building blocks that this beloved community is built out of. And the better we know ourselves as a community, the better we know how God has gifted us to live in this world around us, to care for folk within and without this building. And so please, take some time to do this, and if we get done, we'll give folks a chance to talk with each other about it too.
We didn't warn you that there will be math. On the second sheet, it says Spiritual Gifts Inventory Score Sheet. It's not very clear here. There's 2 columns that correspond to the number of the questions that you were on. You might, in your head or literally, label the first column A and the second column B, and your total value is A plus B, and put that in that third blank column there. And then circle your top 2 or 3 scores as they correspond to which spiritual gift.
So I'm going to invite you to do a couple of things. First, circle your top few, or whatever, top 2 or 3 if you can. Maybe they're a surprise to you, maybe they're not. And I want to say a couple of things about spiritual gifts, right? So this is not something to determine what your spiritual gifts are not. And I think all of us have spiritual gift envy, right? That the things that I'm not particularly great at, but someone else has a spiritual gift I wish was my spiritual gift. That is not what we're about here. This is about what's the person that God's made you to be in the world, and for us to see that and embrace that. We have a little time this morning. We're going to skip one of our hymns. What I would love is for you to meet with another person right now, maybe someone who knows you a little bit, maybe not, and share with them what your top couple of gifts are. If it's someone that you know, they may well be able to affirm and say something about whether they see that in you, but share that with each other for just a couple of minutes, and maybe what this has said to you about who you are. Is this something that you recognize in yourself? Is this something that you're surprised about, right? I'm also going to ask you all to write down on this piece of paper your name and what your 3 gifts are, and when the plates come around, for you to put that in the offering plate this morning. Again, this is not a test. This is so that we, as we become part of the beloved community, we can know who the people are that make these gifts up. If you've put down a spiritual gift, if you said that your spiritual gift is prayer, this does not mean that I'm going to come and tell you have to join the prayer network, right? This is just you celebrating your gift of prayer. We'll make something that visually we can see what the gifts in this church are. That's not going to have your names. It's just going to have the gifts, right? So that we can get to know this community. So I'll bring those around, but I invite you to take a couple minutes to talk with one other person that's near you or that you know in the congregation, and share your gifts.
So real quick, as y'all did that, anyone surprised by their results? I mean, yes? Can you tell us what the nature of your surprise? Was artisanship and handiwork. That did not, you were not expecting that. Excellent. Anyone else had a surprise? Oh, we can get a microphone to you.
One of mine was music. I was really surprised to see that.
Didn't expect that. Right.
I'm curious if anyone had any fives. I didn't, because that's a very high threshold.
Had any fives?
Fives.
No. Well, I said nearly. Did it say always or nearly always? Always or near? Almost always, yeah.
You're a very black and white person, huh, Tom? Yes or no?
We're trying not to be absolutists here, Tom. Hi. Yes.
I was surprised at serving because I always thought that I was wanting to be the boss and in the limelight, and I ended up with a 10 on serving, and I'm like, whoa.
All right. Excellent. Thank you so much, everyone, for doing that. And then, Barb, while I was filling out, did you give directions on putting when the plates come by? We're a finely oiled machine this morning, as you can tell.
When the offering plates come around, go ahead and put the smaller pieces of paper in them, and take the inventory home for yourself. And you're welcome to read through it and get to know it a little bit. This is something that could be a whole afternoon workshop, and we've done it very briefly to slide it into worship this morning, but it definitely is worth some more reflection and some prayer on your all's part. Thank you for being part of this.